The tomatoes have grown. It's been 5 weeks since I set the seed. You remember in my uppotting video, the little tiny scrub of a thing that I pointed out? I upplanted it as well. And it's coming along just well. They're growing nice and stocky. But I have to move them from there now because I have seeds to plant and I need a watering mat to put them on. I have more wicking material than I have grow lights to cover. So I have part of it here, and I prepared it last night, got it soaked and all. Put these tomatoes out on them now. There's going to get less light here because they were under I have four tubes on that shelf. So they were getting plenty of light, and here they won't, and they might start to go leggy, but it's only 3 weeks before I can plant them outside. So, and we plant tomatoes, we plant those deep, so any legginess I'll take care of when I actually plant them in the garden. But you see, this was just barely at the actual true leaves starting, you know, just little cotyledons when I uppotted it. And filled out the table. Now I have that table there that I can set up as well. But the peppers, I have to start potting them up into the final 4 or 5 gallon container, whatever that pot that I showed you I was making. I have several of those. I guess I'm not doing too bad because early on I'm going to set some squash seeds now, and I'll sprout them in these cups, and then pretty much a couple of days after they're up, actually when I know they're actually up and going to be growing, transfer them over to the 2.5, 3 inch pot. And I have 1, 2, 3, 8 varieties, which coincidentally I have 10 rows here. I've got 8 rows. 8 rows of 5. Now, in case you're wondering, I had to push it down with my fingers the first time to make sure it's down to the bottom of these holes. That top part, I don't need to compact it very much at all. And now I'll tell you the varieties as I'm planting them. When you're setting squash seeds, of course you have the flat seed, right? This is the end that was attached to the plant, but if you've sprouted them in paper towels, you realize that it actually comes out this end when it starts growing. So you take that end, the growing end, and stick it down, just poke it down in the soil. It goes level, and I give it a little press so it's a little bit, tiny bit beneath the soil. And if I get 5 of each growing here, then that'll be plenty, because I also want to, it's on my mind to do the same thing with squash and just see what grows by direct sowing. Because these are all the things that in a place like where I live you don't know at all, but even for your own garden you may not. There may be things that you can direct sow that your neighbor can't. That was this is a summer squash, a yellow straight neck. I grew those last year. They weren't prolific, but I got quite a few and I really liked them. So that's the seed that I had left over. Bush delicata. Says there's 15 seeds in here, you see. So if I sow 5 here and then sow 5 outside to see if it'll grow. Now the ones I'm sowing outside, I'll have to wait until the after the last frost date, because if that seed has started to grow at all and then it gets to a freezing temperature, then it's dead, right? So I have to wait until early June to actually plant these out, even though I had some grow out of the compost last year. I'm not going to trust to putting them out, sowing them out before that time. Waltham butternut. I kind of think that is the gold standard for butternut squash. It's like Brandywine is what all tomatoes are judged by, sort of deal, and Waltham butternut would be what all other butternuts are judged by. However, incidentally, I tried a couple of times and I didn't get these to grow. This is just one of those things, I'm stubborn. And as you know, I mean, I have 8 different varieties there, so it's not like I'm going to have a complete squash harvest failure. This is a pumpkin. One of the big differences between pumpkins and squash is the size of their seeds. And you can imagine with a seed that size, right? I'm not going to have much time after these sprout before I've got to put them up into their individual cups. Just that I don't want to waste a bunch of potting soil and space on a seed that is not going to germinate. See this one, that's what I had, 10 seeds. So I put 5 in here, and by early June I'll have the space prepared to put the rest of them. Jahardale? This is a fair sized squash too, I think. And I only have 10 seeds, it looks like. Blackfeet Chew. That's the one that, it's a ugly looking thing. But the description of the taste is what I went for when I was actually choosing this one. I've got a broken one there, so that's no good. Long Island cheese. This should be a good pumpkin. Khaki. Don't remember what that was all. Oh! This is the one with the naked seeds. I'm growing this for the seed. So that's how I'm going to sprout the pumpkin and squash seeds this year. And as soon as they is necessary, then I'll pop them up into a little bigger pot. I'm going to dust a little bit of soil over the top. I'm not packing this down at all. Just like that. This is the tray, one of them that we planted out in that Plant With Me video. It didn't do too well. Now, I don't know if you can see, but I didn't do very well in getting that soil down to the bottom, flush with the bottom of the tray, coming out those holes. And that is probably the reason I had poor germination, because I know some of them spaces are basically gone completely dry. So what I can do, Everest broccoli, they were all good. They came up in every cell and survived. In fact, there's 2 rows, so I got plenty of those. But I'll have to set up another tray and plant some munchkin broccoli and kale and lettuce. The lettuce one is I'm interested in getting going. I'm kind of hoping that kale too, if you can get that plant growing a little bit, you've got a little bit of indoor space and you got a little plant. It can be put outside quite early, like before your last frost. And with lettuce, you know, you got those tiny little seeds you're trying to set. I think it would be easier to sit down at your potting bench and set out some trays like this, get them going, and then plant out the little plugs. So that's what I want to do with lettuce. I'll just put this back to the side now. And I also have, see, when I was setting the cucumbers, I said to myself, I'm sure I bought some cucumber seeds especially for this year. And I couldn't remember the variety. National Pickling and Straight 8 is, once again, one of the standard cucumbers for pickling cucumbers. And that's why I wanted them, and I found them after I had planted the other ones out. So I'm going to plant the 5 plugs with those. Aunt Molly's ground cherry, I bought them because I want to try them, but I never did get them to grow, to tell you the truth. Usual seed life 3 years, and this was pack for 2023, so this was last year. Asparagus, that's old seed, but I'm going to, I want to start 5 more plugs of asparagus. Don't even know if there's any seeds in this one. Yeah, there's some seeds down there. Going to make a poke at growing some eggplant as well. So that's 4 rows there. Yeah, and the ones I want to reseed from over there will fill up the other 4 rows. Now, so you put in smaller seed and just pressing it down in the center, so when my seed goes in, it'll bounce toward the center, and then I just put that dusting over the top like I've been doing. Except for National Pickling cucumbers, which you poke in just like you would squash and pumpkins. I am, however, putting 2 in each cell, so I have possibly 10 plants, because I could separate them if both grows, but I want at least 5. Eggplant has itty bitty seeds, you see. I think I'll put 2 in each one because I'm not so sure about the germination rate on eggplant seeds. I think it's harder to get them to germinate than the average seed. Asparagus now, I could put 3 or 4 seeds in a cell if I wanted to. So I'm going to put at least 2. Aunt Molly's ground cherry, they're only the size of a pinhead. I want to make sure I get a few in the holes, each hole of that one. I still got tons left. Now I need to find what those 4 are. The Risos is broccoli munchkin, kale dwarf green curled. I guess not, because there's no seeds left. How about Lolo Rosa lettuce? Yes, tons of seed. That's what I'm going to do. 3 rows of lettuce. One of these containers takes a full bag of potting soil. Which is 25 liters. So, compressed a little bit, this bucket is more like 7 gallons. 25 I usually just do divide by 4. 4 gallons will be 16. 7 gallons will be 28. So they're a little bigger than what I needed them to be. I'm going to plant, this is what I'm making these for, so that I've got nice planters to put the peppers in. California Wonder will be the biggest pepper plant I have. Show you the way the roots are coming out the bottom here. So the roots are growing well on these. They're in potting soil now, remember. And that's basically what I'm doing here. When I learn a better potting soil mix, as I said, I'll be sure to let you know. So this one here, remember I made this one, and then I made this one, and I thought I needed it a little bit bigger, but I don't need it a little bit bigger. I've got one more of these upstairs. I'll bring the pepper plant up too, and I think I gotta check to see what soil's in it. And this one I'm going to plant, and then I had to make some more. I have 20, I believe it's 20 more pepper plants left. There's 21 pepper plants there to put into those type of pots. There it is. Almost 100% germination. You see this empty line here. So when I was doing the other side, I started out doing the other side and I realized I wasn't going to have enough to do half of that side and half of this side. And when I realized that, I only had enough of this variety for 3 rows. So that's what's going on there. This row is empty, and this is the other variety. I think I planted the Spanish onions first, so these would be the Spanish onions and these would be Walla Walla. I'm going to put those outside, start to herd them off now and plant them. They're big enough to plant. Down here, I can put those all outside now. So I just herd them off and put them outside. I've got 3 little lettuce plants there. Now these, I'll have to hot pot them. So when I get a bunch of these empty from hot potting the peppers here now, and I have some more where I hot potted, I'll hot pot these that's starting on their first true leaf there. And of course that's the ones that I just planted. And over here I had some more tiny seeds that I'm getting to sprout. I'm going to see if I can get more. I had 4 cucamelon seeds left and I only have the 2 over there. There's the 2 cucamelon plants that I have. Echinacea, butterfly milkweed, cilantro, Greek and oregano, winter savory, summer savory, Helicampaign, mammoth basil, butter crunch lettuce, Ken's red kiwi, that's of the same species as the one I just done, and my last 4 Siberian pea shrub. So until the weather gets warmer, the peppers will be in the sunroom in pots like this. And I'll leave you here with this scene of the hot potted peppers. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.